Are we, can we, is anybody still there? I just realized that the microphone was muted in OBS. Sound is back. Okay. Well, that's frustrating. Let me just quickly make sure. I think what was happening is I had it muted here in one source. Okay, so let's recap. Let me take a step back since the audio was missing there. Nothing like a live stream. So what we're doing here is we are adding in the RAG lookup tool for the agent that we started in session one. So what I've done is I have, let's just retrace our steps here. I came in and I created this new information lookup tool. Actually, let me jump back over to Postman because what I did in Postman was I just showed that we have this tool and we can actually use Postman to see how it works and it's returning these chunks. So we have this forthcoming service called the Ultravox corpus service. So this is going to change, and I'll do another video on that when that comes out. But basically, we have this corpus ID, and we pass in a query, and then we have this optional parameter to set the maximum chunks that come back. So that's what this is showing here is just that we've got this endpoint, we can use it, and then when we get into VS Code here, we're actually then taking this the same URL from Postman, and then we're defining these parameters. We're using static parameters, so the model isn't guessing at what those values are. And we're passing in that corpus ID and the number of chunks we want back. But then we're using this dynamic parameter called query that the model will actually set, our AI agent will set and then use. So I started up ngrok here, and let's see, what else did we do? Up here, I put that ngrok URL in just for later. We actually don't need it for this particular tool. And then I need to do one more thing, and I need to take this ngrok URL and I need to go update our Twilio number. So let me pop into Twilio. Just bear with me one second here while I log into Twilio, and then I'll go into show how to configure this. Okay, so we've got signing in, and I'm not showing my screen right now because I don't want to actually show all of my Twilio settings here in the live stream. And let me just go into the number, and now I will show my screen. Okay, so here we are inside of Twilio. This is the phone number that we're going to use. And then, like we did in session one, I'm just changing this to the current ngrok URL, and then I'm going to save that config. So now let's try a call and let's see what happens. Before I do that, actually, I think I need to start up the application. So we've got ngrok running. Let's now start up our application. Server running on port 3000, great. So now let us do a call.
Thank you for calling the Community Center at CCC. My name is Steve, and I'll be happy to help you with any questions or information you need. How can I assist you today?
Yeah, hey Steve. Excuse me, my name is Ben, and I was wondering if you could tell me what the guest policy is for the pool.
Hi, Ben. Nice to talk to you. The guest policy for the pool is that members can bring up to 3 guests per visit, and the guest fee is $5 per person. However, if you're planning to bring a larger group or have any specific questions, I can try to look up more detailed information for you. Would you like me to check on anything else regarding the pool's guest policy?
Yeah, I'd love for you to look that information up for me if you could.
I'll check on the guest policy for the pool. Let me see what I can find.
Cool.
The guest policy for the pool at the community center is the guest policy for the pool at the community center is as follows. Guests must be accompanied by a member to access club facilities. Members are responsible for communicating club rules to their guests and for their guests' behavior. Members must remain at the club
Got it,
property
got it, got it.
until
Okay, yeah, yeah, thank you. And then can you tell me if there's any restrictions on what kind of soccer cleats I can wear?
according to the rules, the only restriction on soccer cleats is that no outdoor cleats are allowed. Flat-soled or small rubber-studded turf shoes are permitted. The referee has the final say on the safety of footwear.
Okay, cool. Thanks, Steve. Have a great day. Okay, so hopefully you all were able to hear that. I think the report yesterday was that, the low-tech solution of my phone right next to the headset here worked. So we could hear there that Steve was actually using that lookup tool and querying and getting back more detailed information that was, relevant to the community center and to the policies there. So obviously we could expand on that. We could add more content to that lookup to the. Okay, thanks, Granado, for confirming that the audio was there. Unlike the first like 10 minutes of the video today, so I apologize about that. But hey, we're making progress. So, but we could add more content to that RAG corpus over time or as needed. So I wanted to do one more thing, and I wanted to go back into VS Code. Actually, while I'm here, let's see if there were. Um, So Granado's got a feature request for plugging in API keys and the prompt, and it will work. So Granado, I'm not exactly sure I follow. Maybe you could elaborate in another chat message and kind of tell me more about that. It sounds interesting. Um, and then Granado also had a question about if the code could be hosted using Twilio serverless. And the answer to that is yes, you could. I didn't do that because I wanted to have something that people could just run locally. So that's why I'm using Express.js. But yeah, you can use any kind of like backend solution. If you even wanted to use Python or you wanted to use a serverless thing, you could absolutely do that. And I've actually built some voice AI agents myself using Twilio serverless, and it's very nice. Um, let's see, Sukman uh, says that they would love to see me implement call stages. So I don't want to give away too much, but in the next session that I'm going to do on Monday, so session number 3, I will implement call stages, and we will show how to do that, and we'll use that to do the outgoing calls that the receptionist will make to do the appointment reminders and to potentially change or reschedule those appointments as needed. So we will get to call stages in that third session. Um, so let's see. So then, last question I'm going to take before I move back into coding, and I will come back to the chat and to questions later, but I want to just keep moving. So Sukman asks, where can we host our code files that initiate the Ultravox agents? I'd say it's up to you. You have a lot of flexibility there. Essentially, what you're doing to start a call with Ultravox is you need to make a REST API request to create that call. So you need to be able to use your API key, you create that call, and then you then need to join that call using either one of our client SDKs, using a telephony provider like Twilio or Telnex or Plivo. I'm using Twilio here. Or you can also join the call using WebSockets. So you could do a server to server connection there. So it's really up to you and what makes sense for your application. I think if you're building a telephone application like we're showing here, I think hosting your code in something like Granado suggested like some type of serverless solution, whether it's on Twilio or on AWS or wherever. But you can also use something like fly.io. I've used fly.io for some of my projects. So you really have a lot of options there. Um, so then let's see here. I'm going to jump back to code. So there was one other thing I wanted to add, and that was I wanted to because part of our scenario here is that people call in to the community center and they want to know what are the upcoming events. So we can say upcoming events at the center. So then why don't we say, actually we can just do this. We can say, um, let's just make this up. Monday, January 27th, 2025. Um, Karaoke Fest from 7 to 9 p.m., all ages. And then we could say Thursday, January 30th, 2025. We can say it's Shin Lim magic show. Our community center punches above its weight in terms of the talent it draws in. Cost is $50 per person, uh, two shows, 5 p.m. and 8 p.m. Okay, so then we can obviously like add more events to this. And I also want to just call out that like not only can we add more events to this, but we can do this dynamically, right? So we could, when our application is running, we could dynamically get this event content and stick it into the prompt. Um, but let's just do another quick test call and see if we ask about upcoming events, and let's see what we hear.
Thank you for calling the Community Center at CCC. My name is Steve, and I'll be happy to help you with any questions or information you need. How can I assist you today?
Yeah, hey Steve, just curious what upcoming events are happening at the center?
We have a lot of exciting events happening at the center. Let me see what's coming up. It looks like the info lookup tool provided a lot of information about the community center's rules and policies, but not specifically about upcoming events. Let me try again.
Okay, so you might have heard there. So actually this happens quite often where uh, I was expecting Steve to just use the information in the prompt. But I think the prompt that I created is not actually telling him the right thing to do. So he used the part of the prompt where he was like, "Hey, let me go use the information lookup tool." Um, but let's see here. Um, why don't we go back to code and let's just change this prompt a bit. And let's say three. Use the events information below to answer questions about upcoming events at the center. And then we can say, number 5, caller is angry. So let's try this.
Thank you for calling the Community Center at CCC. My name is Steve, and I'll be happy to help you with any questions or information you need. How can I assist you today?
Yeah, what kind of events are happening?
We have a variety of events happening here at the Community Center. We've got sports leagues, classes, and workshops for all ages, as well as private events like weddings and birthday parties. Can you tell me what type of event you're interested in? Are you looking for something specific, like a concert or a festival, or are you just curious about what's going on this week?
Well, yeah, I'm just wondering if there's like an events schedule, like what the public events that might be happening.
We do have a public event schedule that's available. Let me see if I can find the info lookup tool to search for public events.
Okay, so it's still struggling. So let's go back and I'm just going to be more explicit here and say this is the events calendar. Uh, let's see if that helps.
Thank you for calling the community
Yeah, yeah,
center.
yeah, yeah. Hey, I was wondering if you could tell me what upcoming events are happening.
We have a lot of exciting events and programs happening here at the CCC. However, I'd like to get a bit more information from you so I can give you the most relevant details. Are you interested in sports, fitness classes, or maybe something for kids? Or perhaps you're looking for upcoming events like concerts, festivals, or workshops? Let me know and I'll do my best to fill you in.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if you could just tell me if, that maybe like a concert or
I
festival
think
or
I can
anything.
help you with that. Like we have a variety of programs and events happening at the CCC, but I want to make sure I give you the most accurate and up-to-date information. Can you please hold for just a moment while I check on some specifics about the soccer program?
No, no, no. I'm just curious about the public events calendar.
Our public events calendar is always packed with something exciting. Let me see. The public events calendar for the community center at CCC is not available. However, the center has a variety of programs and events.
All right, so we're still struggling here. Um, so I don't want to keep like just iterating here on this particular prompt issue. I want to figure this out and maybe just post the code. But basically, what I would do here is just tweak my prompt to get this to respond in the right way. My suspicion is that it's probably something to do with having the events calendar formatted in a way that it's just not picking up. Um, let's look back over at the chat here for a second and see if any questions have come in. We've got Granado says like retail, but for Ultravox and open source. Um, oh, I see. Yeah. So I think what Granado, what you're asking for is essentially you want some way to not have to write code, but you want to be able to just sign up for the service and be able to do something that's more of a no code option to to build agents. I think that's what you're asking for. Maybe you can confirm that. And then the other feature request is to send a transcript after the call to the email and also a summary of the call with the most important points of the call. Yeah, Granado, I think I can actually probably do a video on that second bit um, because we do have the ability to get the full transcript after the call. And I can do a video on how to do that. There's actually a way you can automate that using webhooks. And then the summary of the call is actually available by default. So if I show you here in, let's go to the browser and let's go to the docs. And if I go into API reference, if I say get call, so a call has happened and now we want to get the information for that call. So using the call ID, we can see that there is, actually, let me just search for summary. So there are two fields that are included. One is a short summary and one is the summary. And so a summary is typically 2 to 3 sentences, and then the short summary is like one sentence. So those are generated automatically by the Ultravox model at the end of every call. So that's something that you could use and give us feedback on how that works. We are thinking longer term about adding the ability to do custom summaries, but that feature is not yet ready, and it's just something that's like on the roadmap. But our idea with the custom summary is to allow you to specify more via some kind of a prompt, and then you that would be applied to essentially do the summary. So stay tuned for more on that over the coming weeks. So let's go back to VS Code and let me pull up. So we've got our agent. Obviously, we still need to do more work on the prompt. A lot of this prompting, as you may already know, is somewhat iterative, right? Um, you kind of learn as you interact with the agent, and then you can kind of give more guidance. But I want to provide this other tool called transfer call. And if you watched the video we did a few weeks ago where we had some advanced capabilities that we went through, I'm actually just going to use the same code that we already did there. So let's go ahead and review that. So we have inside of this Twilio route, we've got, let me just minimize some of these things. We actually can expose this transfer call uh, endpoint, and we can give this tool to our agent. And then what happens is this just calls this function up here called transfer active call, and this just uses the Twilio API, and then we get this destination number, and destination phone number is set in an environment variable. So why don't I do that real quick? And oh, I guess we already have it here called out as a to do. So let's say +1. And actually, I'm going to hide this so I don't give away my wife's phone number here, but we're going to transfer the call to her just for fun. And we can come back to our config and let's go. It was one of these that we already had commented out. Yeah, we have transfer call. So let's uncomment this. Use this if a caller is upset um, or if there are questions you cannot answer. So we're passing in. So earlier we talked about the we talked about dynamic parameters and static parameters. Here we're using an automatic parameter, which is the third type of parameter that we support in Ultravox. And so an automatic parameter, there's really two use cases for this right now. These are things that the system, the Ultravox system knows that your application doesn't know ahead of time. So you don't know the unique call ID that's generated until it's generated. And so you can basically use this automatic parameter to get that call ID. I'm using this here to do a lookup and to basically, I'm actually using this to store um, the call ID with the call ID on the Twilio side so that I can do the transfer. But you can also use an automatic parameter to get the call history if you wanted to do that. So we're going to pass in this call ID, and then we've got caller's first name, last name. So this was from our prior example code where we were trying to collect um, like new kind of account information for this HVAC company. But why don't we actually just update this? I don't think we need. the phone number. Actually, you know what we can do is let's just update this to transfer reason. And then this is exposed at our tools base URL Twilio transfer call, which is up here. Now, I don't have hot module reloading implemented in this Express app. So I actually need to stop it and restart it. So we should be running. So let's try a call and let's see what happens.
Thank you for calling the community center. My name is Steve, and I'll be happy to help you with any questions or information. How can I assist you today?
Yeah, Steve, I'm super upset. My kid was mistreated at the lesson, and I need to talk to the swimming coach immediately.
I'm so sorry to hear that your kid had a bad experience at the swimming. I understand why you'd want to speak with the coach right away. However, I'm a virtual receptionist, and I don't have the ability to connect you directly with the coach. But I can definitely help you get in touch with someone who can assist you. Let me see what I can do.
I hear my wife's phone ringing out there. She's going to be confused. Hey, I was just testing call transfer and I called you. So just wanted to prove that it worked. Thank you. Okay. All right. Bye. Okay. So what did we do just there is we created that tool. We could transfer it to any phone number. So I think we could hear that the agent knew based on the prompt that they weren't actually transferring directly to the swim coach because we just said, hey, this is just to escalate to a human. So I think the model did a good job at handling that, and then we were able to transfer the call there. Um, so. Yeah, Granado, thank you. Use speakerphone. Yeah, maybe I'll do that next time. Um, and then Granado has another suggestion that the AI should do quick info about the handoff. That's actually a feature request that we've heard. I think essentially there's this idea of a warm handoff where um, instead of just handing it off cold like that, you'd want the AI to say, hey, I'm transferring Ben to you because do you want to accept the call or not? So I think that's something that we'll be looking to add to the system over time. But we've heard that feature request, Granado, from other customers as well, and I think it's a great idea. Much more like human and much more I think it creates the best experience for the transfer for sure. So let's see. Let me take a look at where we're at here with our plan. Come back into VS Code. So I wanted to put some more info in the prompt, upcoming events. We didn't get the events working yet, so maybe we want to circle back to that. We have our RAG working. We've created both of our tools. So that's really the bulk of what I wanted to cover today. Um, let me see if we can get this prompt. All right, Granado, let's see here. Let me try speakerphone, see how that works. Oh, you know what I got to do? and I wonder if this is why it didn't work earlier, is because I'm so used to doing uh, work in a system that has HMR, hot module reloading. Maybe this would have worked the whole time and I just forgot to restart. Let's see.
Thank you for calling the center. My name is Steve, and I'll be happy to help you with any questions or information you need. How can I assist you today?
Yeah, hey Steve, this is Ben, and I'm wondering if you could tell me what upcoming events are happening.
We've got a couple of fun events coming up this Monday, January 27th. We've got a karaoke fest from 7 to 9 p.m., and it's open to all ages. Then on Thursday, January 30th, we've got a magic show by Shinlit. He's got two shows scheduled, one at 5 p.m. and another at 8 p.m. Tickets for the magic show are 15 per person. Would you like more information about either of those events, or is there something else I can help you with?
Well, maybe you could tell me, I need to host a private meeting for some of my coworkers. Could I do that at the center?
We've got some great spaces available for private meetings. We have 4 breakout rooms that are perfect for smaller groups, and each room can hold up to 8 people. They're great for private meetings, brainstorming sessions, or even interviews. We also have a larger ballroom that can be rented out for bigger events. But for a meeting with your coworkers, one of the breakout rooms might be just what you need. Would you
Okay.
like me to check availability and pricing for you?
No, no, no. Sounds good. Let me get back to you. Thank you. So I don't know, was speakerphone better there, Granado? Yeah, it's probably my guess is it might be vo noise cancellation. So maybe when I'm putting it up to my ear, it makes it seem like it's coming right out of my mouth. I don't know. Um, let's do the call again. Or was it good enough to understand, or should I do it again so you can hear it? There's a little bit of a delay. I gotta wait for the chat to update. Okay, let's do it again.
Thank you for calling the community center, Steve, and I'll be happy to help you with any questions or information you need. How can I assist you today?
Yeah, hey Steve, what's going on? Could you tell me about any upcoming events?
We've got a couple of fun events coming up here at the community center. Next Monday, January 27th, we've got a karaoke fest from 7 to 9 p.m., and it's open to all ages, so feel free to bring the whole family. And then on Thursday, January 30th, we have a magic show by Shin Lim, which should be really cool. There are two shows that day, one at 5 p.m. and another at 8 p.m., and tickets are 50 per person. Would you like more information about either of those events?
No, I think I'm all good. Thank you. Okay, so there we have it. So I think actually what was happening before was I didn't actually restart the node server, which means that that prompt when I put the events in there was just never picked up. So I think that was probably just the issue. Hey, uh, Karen, yeah, you came late, but not that late. The first 10 minutes of the broadcast, my mic was muted and I didn't even know it. So. Do you have any questions? Any other questions? Okay, I love it. Hey, I just showed up late. Catch me up real quick. So what'd we do? Uh, because I think we were just about ready to wrap up. So what we did here was we took the code that we started yesterday, and we did a couple of things. We updated our prompt to include a section on events so that when people call in, the receptionist can talk about upcoming events that are happening. We also provided a couple of tools. One, this transfer call tool, and I actually demonstrated this and I transferred the call to my wife's cell phone. So she was answering like, "Hey, what's going on?" Um, so we implemented a call transfer tool so that we could hand off the call to a human. And Granado actually had a really good suggestion, which was we should make that more of a softer handoff where the AI can tell the human, "Hey, I want to transfer you. Here's why. Is that okay?" And I said we've heard that request before, and we think it's a great idea and something we're actually looking into. But then we also provided this other tool to do information lookup. And what this tool does is it allows the agent to do RAG queries and was able to answer more detailed questions about the swimming pool and the program and the soccer program. So that's really what we did today. Trying to think if there was anything else. We had this plan that we went over. So we summarized what we did yesterday. We went through all of these things today. And then on Monday, or in session 3, we're going to dive into the outgoing calls. And so what we're going to do there is we will actually import some data. And just as a kind of a preview of that, we've got a database schema where we're actually going to store student information as well as emergency contact info. And then we've got a list of fake students that I actually had Claude generate for me. And then we also have a bunch of swim lessons that we're going to import to a calendar. Okay, so this is just kind of a preview of what we're going to do in session 3. So we're going to get all that data imported, and then we're going to create a daily job that'll run, and then we'll make outgoing calls to remind students of lessons coming up, and then it can change or cancel those appointments as needed. Okay, so that's what we did today. That's what we're going to do on Monday in session 3. So I'd love to hear any thoughts you all have, other things you'd like to see. Granado has been sharing some feature requests in the chat, which have been great. Looks like there's a, let's see, Granado says, if you like, can you talk about how the AI is working so good? I saw nothing else work as good as yours when they were using TTS and Whisper. So we've been at this for a while. So I think it was sometime in 2023, like summer of 2023, we started actually pivoting as a company into real-time voice AI. So we've been working with LLMs for quite a while, since 2022, and we we basically saw this opportunity to we saw that LLMs were really good at talking, or sorry, really good at natural kind of conversation. And so we wanted to see if we could get a voice added to that to make it natural, just kind of like, we as humans can kind of talk to each other. So in 2023, we actually did what we would call a component model, where we stitched together multiple components. We had an ASR, automatic speech recognition component. We had the LLM, we had the TTS, and we stitched all these things together. And then we did a lot of optimizations behind the scenes to have it be really fast. And we realized, though, that with that component approach, that we were never going to get what felt like real conversations. Things felt fake. The model doesn't actually understand human speech because you're relying on something like Whisper or some other speech to text component. So we realized that what we needed to do was train our own model. Ultravox is that model, and we've trained Ultravox to understand human speech natively. So we don't have that ASR speech to text like step at the beginning. Our model understands speech natively. And then we today, still at the end, we are outputting text, and we do a TTS step. But sometime later this year, we will remove the need for TTS completely, and our model will actually output speech directly. So it will be fully speech in, speech out. And we think that that's going to allow conversations to be that much more natural and fluid. We've also done a lot of work to have the model know when to speak. We still have a lot of work to do there. You may have noticed in some of the test calls I was doing, I could interrupt the model. So we've done work to tune all of that. And we feel like we're just getting started. Today, Ultravox understands and speaks 15 different languages. And in our next version of the model that's coming out in the next week or two. The team's hard at work, like right now as I speak, training the new version of the model. We're going to add support for over 20 additional languages. So we really are all about just natural speech understanding and just bringing that power to you all as our customers, because there's just so many things that we're seeing people build with that that are really exciting. So that's a little bit on the model there, Granado. Um, let's see here. So then Karen says, regularly update the data of upcoming events, or we can integrate something like Google Sheets for events. Yeah, exactly. And I would say, Karen, it's kind of up to you. In my experience, I wanted to put like the obvious sort of like high level information about the organization, the community center here. I wanted to put that in the prompt. Um, but we could put that into some other database. We could put that into a RAG system. To your point, we can, and you'll see this in session 3, we'll actually put a bunch of data into a Google Calendar that we will interface with, and we'll be able to query that as well. So I'd say it's just kind of up to your particular needs and what makes sense. It may not make sense for you or your customer, whoever you're building the app for, to go and update the prompt regularly. And so maybe you want to just have those events be like a dynamic query where Steve, our receptionist here, would say, hey, give me a second while I look that up. And then he would just go and do some query against a database or a Google Sheet or whatever and pull back that list of events. Um, yeah, it's funny. Yeah, these guys are cooking, let them cook. Yeah, that's funny. I hadn't heard that. Um, yeah, thanks, Granado. Yeah, I appreciate y'all tuning in. We'll do session 3 on Monday. If you can't join, no problem. We'll post the recording and all the code. I'll post as well. But if you can join, hopefully I will pay attention to the chat more closely and see that the audio was having issues. So my apologies on that. I need some kind of an assistant to tell me that my audio is not working. So anyway, hope you all have a great weekend, and we'll talk soon. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I see some more questions coming in. So just let me answer these. So Karen is asking, will prices go up or will it stay 5 cents forever? Forever is a very long time, so I'm not going to commit to forever. I will just say that our philosophy on the pricing is that we think it's our responsibility to keep driving that voice inference cost as low as we can. I mean, if you look at the history, the last couple years in the LLM space, the price per token has dropped significantly. Like every time a new model comes out, like the price per token keeps going down. And so our goal is to have that 5 cents go lower over time. I can't predict like the future and economic conditions and the cost of GPU. I mean, so I can't say it's always going to be 5 cents or it's always going to be less than 5 cents, but our goal is to drive that lower and pass those savings on to you all as our customers. We are actively working on adding some new functionality to the platform, and we plan to monetize some of those additional features. So just as like a quick preview of our thinking there is if you work in a team and you have a team of people who need to access a shared account, we're going to charge a small amount of money for that type of functionality. If you want to have I talked earlier in this call about call summaries. Those call summaries are automatically generated. I think we might charge, above some like generous number of call summaries. If you need more of those, we might charge for those types of things. So I think what you can expect from us is we'll continue to have this free 30 minutes for all new accounts. I think we'll continue to have this like pay as you grow usage based pricing where you can just say, hey, great, I just pay 5 cents, or hopefully again we can drive that price down. You just keep paying that, and you'll get most of our core features, there'll be some usage of that included. So this new corpus service that we're about to release, there'll be some usage of that included, and then we'll be able to charge for, things above and beyond that. We think it'll be very fair. Some of our customers that we've talked to about this already, they all think that this makes sense, and it's kind of what they expect. So that's where we're going. So hopefully that answers that question. Um, Daniel's asking if we can do a one-on-one call. Yeah, just DM me, Daniel, in our Discord, and happy to work with you and set something up. Um, Granado's making the case again for a no-code solution. So we are working to build out the dashboard, app.ultravox.ai. I think over the next few weeks, you'll see a lot of new things showing up there. So Granado, please keep sharing your feedback on what else we can do to make your life easier. And yeah, Karen, I agree. I don't think you can find anybody in the market who's even close to 5 cents a minute. So I think we have the best solution and we have the best price, and we're committed to making it even better over time. So thanks again, everybody. Have a great weekend, and hopefully I'll see you on Monday at session 3. Later.